There's a lot going on in the country and you must stay informed while we report. Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News. Bear with me, Sandro Satyajit. First, your top stories.
Hartal against ATA commenced in North and Eastern provinces. Presidential Commission report on the 2019 April 21st terror attacks handed over to the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Final decision on the boycotting of the GCE A-level answer script to be made today. Minister of Education informs Parliament. A proposal from Dallas for the GCE O-level exam.
සියලු දරුවන්ට විභාග දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවේ සහතිකයක් දුන්නොත් උසස් පෙළ හැදෑරීම සඳහා සියලු සුදුසුකම් සපුරා ඇත කියලා. අපිට එකවර එක කරන්න බෑ ලන්ඩන් එක්සෑම් එකේ කරපු විදිහට.
Cabinet spokesperson says tax relief cannot be given to professionals. Malaria death reported in the country after 14 years. 11 patients reported in the last 4 months.
On to your news in detail now. Your top story, a hartal against the proposed anti-terrorism bill has commenced in the north and eastern provinces. The hartal campaign has been organized by the political parties in the north and the east, including the Tamil National Alliance. Shops in Thinnamarachi, Chavakacheri, Kodikadam in the Jaffna district were closed this morning. According to our correspondents, students did not attend schools today. This was the situation in Baunia this morning. Buses did not operate today. All shops in Mana were closed today in support of the Hartal campaign. According to our correspondents, a low attendance of students to schools was reported. The Hartal campaign was carried out in Selvapuram, Mullaitivu today. According to our correspondents, only private buses operated. Meanwhile, a bus travelling from Mullaitivu to Jaffna was attacked with stones for not supporting the Hartal. The bus was attacked in Selvapuram, Mullaitivu. The Hartal took place in Trincomalee as well. According to our correspondent, certain shops were open today. The Minister of Education, Dr. Susil Premajayantha, says that he expects to reach a final decision on the commencement of the evaluation of GCE advanced level answer scripts today. He made these remarks in Parliament today. The Examination General informed me yesterday that the controlling chiefs, the professors in charge of 10 papers each, have commenced their work and that other work is slated to begin today. Meanwhile, I also received a letter yesterday from the FUTA highlighting certain points. I had responded with a fair solution to them. Accordingly, I believe that this issue will be solved in this regard. This is what the Examiner General informed me about.
Advanced level marking
If the marking of these papers is not done now, this year's GCE level examination will get postponed to the next year. We could not hold the O-level examinations because we could not find space to store papers in the examinations department. Fresh grade 11 children who come into classes have no chairs to sit in their classes, nor do they have any desks or classrooms. This is a long-term crisis. If the O-level exam is not held this year, the A-level exam of 1 year would not be held.
Consider this as a solution. Why can we not give a temporary assurance to the students in GCE O-level to write their GCE A-level exams verified by the Department of Examinations? I believe this would not be unfair on the children because there is no job that they can apply to with their O-level. Therefore, afterwards we can hold the O-level exam in December and the A-level exam in August as usual. A decision similar to this was taken for London O-level as well. Testing and evaluation of the London exams is very different to locals because there is regular testing and evaluation before their final exams. Our country is still in an exam-centric education system. Therefore, we cannot do this. We are trying to make sure both A-level exams are held this year and to have O-level in February. Therefore, by the end of 2024, we can make sure the O-level exam is held in December and that A-level is held in August. Now, meanwhile, journalists questioned the delay in the evaluation of GCE advanced level answer scripts at the press conference to announce cabinet decisions today.
ඇමතුමනි අපොස උසස් පෙළ ප්‍රශ්න පත්‍ර ඇගීමේ ක්‍රියාවලිය පිළිබඳ නවතම තත්ත්වය කුමක්ද?
කැබිනට් රැස්වීමේදී මේ පිළිබඳව සාකච්ඡා පැවැත්වුණා. මේදී ඉතා විශාල වගකීමක්
This was discussed in the cabinet meeting. The university professors and teachers, as the evaluators, have a big responsibility towards the lives of children. Their lives are in danger. The relevant minister informed the cabinet that even parents may intervene at this point. He has in every way intervened and attempted to solve every issue through negotiation. Yesterday, the examination commissioner also discussed with the chief controlling inspectors that children should not be caught in the middle of trade union politics. If there is something to be done, the government will do it. The minister hopes that the university professors and teachers will think about the children and begin the evaluation of answer scripts.
උත්තරපත්‍ර පරීක්ෂා කිරීමේ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කරන්න සියලු විද්වත් ආචාර්ය මහාචාර්යවරු පෙළඹෙනවා කියන විශ්වාසය තමයි එතුමා සඳහන් කළේ.
Meanwhile, the Federation of University Teachers Association says that a decision regarding the evaluation of answer scripts for the GCE A-level examinations 2022 will be taken in an executive council meeting to be held this evening.
University professors and teachers are those who educated the children of this country successfully so far. The rulers continue to destroy the education system without giving in to the demands of the people. But today we hope to make a decision regarding the boycotting of the evaluation of answer scripts for the GCE Advanced Level Examinations 2022 at the meeting scheduled to take place at 2 p.m. today.
Can professionals be given the expected concessions from the unjust tax policy? Views regarding this were expressed in the cabinet media briefing today.
Minister, briefly explain when will you agree to the conditions and when will concessions be given to professionals? Because professionals have been saying they only need a small concession.
අපිට එහෙම සහනයක් දෙන්න බෑ. එතුමන්ලා තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ මොකද මේක කිවිසුමකට අස්සම් කළාම
We can't provide a concession like that. They must realize that once you sign an agreement, they must increase the income and reduce the expenses. We have received the IMF for 16 times. We cannot do that anymore. As a country, we are now in trouble. If we are to regain the confidence of the international community, we must abide by the agreement. If we violate those conditions from time to time, we will not be able to recover. Once we get an opportunity to give a concession, we will do so.
විනාශ වෙන එක වළක්වා ගැනීම තමයි මේ ක්‍රියාමාර්ගය ගන්න.
On to other news now. Minister of Public Security Tiran Alas has handed over the final report of the Presidential Commission which investigated the 2019 April 21st terror attacks to the Catholic Bishops' Conference. Now, the minister said that the relevant report was handed over to the Bishop of Kurunegala, President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference, His Eminence Harold Anthony. The minister said that the report of the Presidential Commission was handed over to the Catholic Bishops' Conference with the President's approval. And on to other news now. News First journalist Zulfiq Farzan was summoned to the Terrorist Investigation Division today to record a statement regarding his interview with former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira regarding the 21st April attacks.
In an interview with News First Zulfiq Farzan in May 2021, the former Attorney General stated that there is a grand conspiracy behind the April 21st attacks. The Court of Appeal on Monday issued an interim order on the Terrorist Investigations Division preventing the arrest or recording a statement from former Attorney General Dappula de Oliveira. The interim order was made after considering a writ application filed by the former Attorney General. In his petition, Dappula de Oliveira said that the statement he made to the media was made in his capacity as the Attorney General in the public interest. Accordingly, News First journalist appeared before the Terrorist Investigations Division at about 10 a.m. today to provide a statement.
Meanwhile, the Sectoral Oversight Committee on Environment has summoned the relevant parties on Tuesday to discuss filing actions to seek compensation for the destruction caused to Sri Lanka's marine environment following the Express Pearl disaster that took place in the Sea of Sri Lanka. Now, questions regarding this were raised in the Cabinet press briefing today.
Minister, why were measures taken to file action in Singapore and not Sri Lanka? Moreover, Minister Vijay Das Rajapaksa said an underhand deal worth 250 million took place. Who is this person who took money? Is it someone you know?
මේ පිළිබඳ ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුළ නඩු නොපැවරීමට හේතු පිළිබඳ
We discussed this within the cabinet. This decision was taken after the Attorney General consulted international factions who have expertise in the legal field. This is not a decision that was taken based on feelings. This decision was taken after lengthy discussions. We will further discuss the matter in the future.
ප්‍රාමාණික අවබෝධයක් තියෙන විද්වතුන් විසින් ගත්ත තීරණයක් මිසක් හැඟීම් වලට ගත්ත තීරණයක්.
Environmental scientist Professor Ajanta Pereira arrived at the Human Rights Commission of Sri Lanka yesterday. She arrived at the commission to file a complaint against the filing of a lawsuit in the Singaporean court to claim compensation for the environmental damage caused by the Express Pearl shipwreck.
සිංගප්පූරුවට ගිහිල්ලා නඩුව ෆයිල් කරන්නේ මේ නඩුව ෆයිල් කරා විතරක් නෙමෙයි මේක ඉදිරියට
Why are we handing over to Singapore something that should be done by the government? There is still containers and debris at the bottom of the ocean that we have not even seen. When such damage has happened in our own country, why do we go to Singapore to file the case? We would also have to pay a lot to the Australian law firm to take this case onwards as well. Can we bear this cost now? Can we pay this Australian law firm in dollars? If legal fees cannot be paid, the case will come to a halt. The shipping company violated international maritime law. The containers were not arranged properly. Pellets were thrown everywhere. Today we've gone to Singapore to chase after a reputable shipping company. The owners of this company cannot even be found now. Who can we file a lawsuit against? Therefore, we have taken a decision on behalf of the people of the country to file a case in Sri Lanka before the 19th of May, and through that we will be able to obtain somewhat of a compensation. I don't know who went to Singapore to file the case, but they had spent $4 million on it. Today people are on the streets because they have no medicine. There are many suffering without the basic necessities. Can we not give this money to them?
අද ඖෂධ නැතුව මිනිස්සු බංකුවලට වෙලා ගෝස් කෑල්ලක් නැතුව කොටන් වූල් ටිකක් නැතුව අඬනවා. ඒගොල්ලන්ට දෙන්න බැයිද ඒ සල්ලි? මේකයි ප්‍රශ්නේ.
The National Institute of Health Sciences of Kalutara says that after 14 years, Sri Lanka reported a malaria death. Thamara Kalubovila, the director of the National Institute of Health Sciences, said that a resident of Beruwala who had returned from overseas had died from malaria.
The anti-malaria campaign said that 11 malaria cases have been reported in Sri Lanka in the last 4 months of the year. Its director, Dr. Champalu Twira, said that last year 37 malaria patients were reported. However, she said compared to the first 4 months of last year, there has been an increase in malaria cases this year.
On to a quick look at news overseas. The United Nations has said India will overtake China to become the most populous country in the world by the end of this week.
The new data shows India's population is expected to reach over 1.4 billion people by the end of April. A different UN body last week predicted that India would overtake China by the middle of this year. The Asian nations have accounted for more than a third of the global population for over 70 years. The UN's Department of Economic and Social Affairs said in a statement, quote, China will soon cede its long-held status as the world's most populous country, end quote. It added that, quote, due to the uncertainty associated with estimating and projecting populations, the specific date on which India is expected to surpass China in population size is approximate and subject to revision, end quote. The UN Population Fund said last week India would have 2.9 million more people than China by the middle of 2023.
Meanwhile, making headlines across the world today, a strong undersea earthquake has sent streams of people fleeing to higher ground in western Indonesia after a tsunami warning was briefly triggered. Footage released by the National Disaster Mitigation Agency showed how streams of people in a village on Metawai Island fled to the highlands by foot and motorcycles under the rain in darkness early Tuesday, while some patients at the village's hospital were evacuated to its yard as cracks showed in the facility's floor. Disaster agency spokesperson Abdul Muhari said residents in parts of western Sumatra province, including the provincial capital of Padang, felt the earthquake strongly for about 30 seconds. The area that was struck was the same area where the 2004 tsunami occurred, killing over 200,000 people. The US Geological Survey said aftershocks measured strong as 5.8. The magnitude 7.1 earthquake was centered 170 kilometers southeast of Teluk Dalam, a coastal town in the South Nias region of North Sumatra, at a depth of 15 kilometers. After an initial tsunami alert, Indonesia's Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysical Agency lifted the warning just before dawn, about 2 hours after the quake. A quick look back at local news before your sports news. The World Bank's policy financing program has extended its support for Sri Lanka's economic stabilization and recovery program. The President, in his capacity as the Finance Minister, informed that the first tranche of the IMF's Extended Fund Facility has been released. The government is implementing comprehensive economic stabilization and recovery work programs related to the necessary reforms with the aim of providing solutions to the macroeconomic challenges. The World Bank has agreed to extend its support through its policy financing program. Accordingly, the World Bank will provide its support to increase the competitiveness and economic transformation and to safeguard groups in poverty and at risk. The coordination process will be done through the Presidential Secretariat. The Foreign Resources Department of the Ministry of Finance will hold talks with the World Bank after sourcing with relevant funds.
Cabinet spokesman Minister Bandulu Gunawardena said the Asian Development Bank has agreed to provide a special credit facility of $350 billion along with the International Monetary Fund's Extended Fund Facility.
The Asia Development Bank has agreed to provide a special credit facility of $350 billion. The Asian Development Bank has agreed to provide $1.5 million in technical assistance to strengthen Sri Lanka's economy in line with the extended fund facility approved by the International Monetary Fund.
Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers has reached a decision to limit the construction of buildings that are over 4 stories in the Nuwara district from the 1st of May. The decision was reached based on a proposal presented to the Cabinet by the President. Meanwhile, Cabinet approval was also granted to appoint a Cabinet subcommittee to prepare a new national education policy framework. The aim of the Cabinet subcommittee is to present the national education policy framework for the next 25 years and all related reform proposals to Parliament and implement them on a priority basis. The subcommittee includes 10 members, including the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education.
On to sports news. The second test between Sri Lanka and Ireland got underway at the Galle International Cricket Stadium for the second day today. Now at lunch, Ireland was at 399 for the loss of 6 wickets.
Ireland, who were playing the first innings, scored 319 runs for the loss of only 4 wickets and were in a strong position. Lachlan Tucker and Curtis Camper, who were playing a valuable innings, remained unbeaten. In the first over of today's match, Vishwa Fernando managed to knock out Lachlan Tucker for 80 runs. Paul Sterling, who left the field due to an injury yesterday, came back to bat today. Curtis Camper, who played a valuable innings, scored his maiden test half-century today.
And he's given that a wallop, and it brings up the 50 for Curtis Camper.
Viewers can watch the match on TV1.
Visit our website www.newsfirst.lk and our social media pages to stay updated with the latest. Bringing you the news from the news desk, I'm Sandro Sathajit signing off. Have a good day.